Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do my absolute best to get some awesome cinematics and talk a little bit about what's going on with my aquariums, so stay tuned. So when it comes to my aquariums, we got to look at the 10-gallon first. We got to start small and build up from there. Now with this tank, it's seen many phases. At one point it had cichlids, that was really bad. At one point it had a crayfish in it. It's had loaches in it, it's had pufferfish in it. And now, oddly enough, it's a guppy tank. What I think stands out most about this aquarium is just the contrast in the amount of energy. You've got the hornwort floating on the top, just very peaceful. You've got the moss just stuck where it is. Everything looks serene, everything looks calm. The water, like the filter is not pushing the water all that fast. Everything's very stable. And then you look at the fish and they're darting around everywhere. They're crazy. The shrimp are just constantly working on any little bit of algae they can find. The snails just constantly moving. The coolie loaches, absolutely crazy when they come out during the day. All the life in this tank is just active. But then you go to the plant life and it's just slowly growing, slowly absorbing nutrients. And it's very relaxing, and at the same time it's very interesting. There's so much to look at. And when you literally sleep beside this aquarium, you begin to notice all the gradual changes with the tank's evolution. You begin to see the plants change different colors as they develop. You see the snails slowly growing bigger, growing darker. You see the fish breed. You see the shrimp berry up with eggs. It's very interesting. When we talk about my favorite fish in this aquarium, I'm not sure that it is a fish. The guppies are great as a group, but on their own, they're not that interesting. Now, I do love the energy they provide. I mean, listen to what they sound like during feeding time. And the cherry shrimp just always working away, always very active and just so intricate with their activity. And then of course the coolie loaches, the background heroes of this tank, of which this tank was designed around, to have them enjoy the sand and the little hiding spaces between the rocks. But I think if I had to choose one creature in here that I like the most, it'd have to be the assassin snail. And the reason for that is this tank was also designed for him, if just by accident. With the assassin snail, he's got all these very interesting behaviors. He hides, he hunts, he goes to the surface to get oxygen. He's got this sensor that's always moving around. He's just very cool. And I would love to get a bunch of them and have an army come out of the ground whenever I feed. Now, I think the close second for this tank would be the lamp-eye killifish, which were an accidental addition to this tank. When I saw them at the store that one time, I instantly fell in love with them. They weren't too expensive, and with a black background, the blue on their eyes and the blue on their body just pops, and it looks so great. It matches their energy level. It makes them stand out. Unfortunately, it seems like the direction of this tank is downhill, although not of its own accord. It's me that's bringing it downhill. And the reason for that we're going to have to touch on later in the video, because this tank is going to be completely broken down and used for a bunch of other things. Now, the next tank that we're going to look at, and please do excuse the background noises, is the 40-gallon planted community aquarium. Now, this tank is amazing. I could watch this tank forever. The amount of detail is just mind-boggling. the history behind this aquarium is it was my refuge from very aggressive cichlids. For a long time, as you heard with the 10-gallon, I had cichlids in there, and it was not a fun time. 10 gallons is really not enough for pretty much any African cichlid. So the 40-gallon was my escape from that. Unfortunately, it came too late, and I had already lost some fish by that time, and I decided to just give up on the whole idea of keeping African cichlids at all. And instead, I moved on to community aquariums and community fish, and that ultimately led me to rainbow fish, which we'll talk about in a second here. But the 40-gallon in general was my time to shine. It was finally I had the canvas that I was able to paint all my ideas onto, and it turned out unimaginably well. There were bumps along the road, but now I have no words. Looking at it right now, it's just, I love it so much. My favorite thing about this aquarium is it's the amount of detail in there. There's so much going on, from the beta to the Bolivian rams, the ghost catfish, the guppies, the rainbow fish, the goby, you know, the snails everywhere. There's just so much detail. I think I clocked the amount of fish here in at 48, so I have 48 fish, not including snails, and that's only the fish that I've been able to see all at one time. Another thing that I just love about this aquarium is the design of it. That slope design, that river style system allows for a lot of natural behaviors that I always wanted to see in the fish that I've been keeping. Additionally, although I struggled with them, I love the degree to which the plants cover the scape. I love the floating plants up there that give the beta and the pencilfish safety. I love the plants on the bottom that allow the Bolivian rams to escape from each other when need be. I love how the ghost catfish will just dive into that flow and look for food coming down towards them. It's so nice. And a lot of this, if you've been keeping up with me, was actually not store-bought. A lot of this I either got from Zach, who went out collecting stones in the wild, or I went and got them myself when I worked at the camp. I guess that'd be almost 2 years ago now, or at least a year. And the driftwood as well, which I got from the camp I was working at, cut it there, put it in the tank, and it all comes together so nicely. If you asked me to pick a favorite fish, well, you'd be giving me a lot of trouble. It'd be a difficult decision for me. And that's because I only put, maybe other than the guppies, but I only put fish in here that I really, really, really like. This is my masterpiece aquarium. I only put something in here that I find to be amazing. And I think I've really accomplished that. It's really hard for me to pick my favorite fish. If I look at one fish for more than 2 minutes, that's just become my favorite fish. I'd say right now, with the amount of color that they're displaying, hopefully I've got good video of them displaying their color now, but the dwarf neon rainbow fish are just amazing. They are just amazing. And they went from tiny, tiny little fish. I raised them all the way up until they're around 3 inches now, and wow, they're a masterpiece of their own. They've got the purple, they've got the blue, green, rimmed with red on the males, yellow on the females. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. But then I look over to the Bolivian rams and I think, wow, look at those guys. Look at the green on their face, look at the red on their fins, that big mohawk, the little bits of blue on their ventral fins. Absolutely incredible. And then the ghost catfish, and we cannot forget Kitster, my Farlowella vittata, who's just sitting there looking cool all the time. And I'd have to say that long term, no matter what, you know, with the Bolivian rams, you know, like sometimes they hide a lot, and I never see them, you know. With the dwarf neon rainbow fish, you know, sometimes they'll just completely wash out during the day. They'll just become silver, and you know, they look like this boring fish in my aquarium. But with Kitster, with my Farlowella, I always look at him and I think, dang, that's a nice fish. Not only is he a nice fish, but he's easy to take videos of because he's never in motion, And now, which I didn't take a video of for you guys, but now I've got a baby Farlowella vittata in there, and I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy him just as much as I've enjoyed Kitster, hopefully for the next 10 to 15 years. Now, as for where this tank is going, I'm just gonna let it age, I think. I might pull the guppies out of there, I might throw some more rainbow fish in there, but other than that, I'm just gonna let it be as it is. I'm just gonna kind of let it maintain itself. It's gotten to this point where I don't have to do water changes all that often anymore. We're looking at 2 weeks to do a water change now. You guys are probably saying in the comments, no, you only have to wait a month. I'm gonna slowly let it do its thing. I'm not gonna rush into any long water change schedule. I'm just gonna let it do its thing, and I'm just gonna add a few more fish. That's what I love about the 40-gallon, guys. It's such a big footprint. There's so much space. You can add so many plants, and because of that, you can just add such a large variety of fish. So 40 gallons are awesome. If you guys are looking into a tank, definitely look for a 40-gallon. Now, lastly, we've got the 75-gallon mystery aquarium. Now, if the 10-gallon was the genesis of this channel and the 40-gallon was what carried it, then this 75-gallon is going to be the future of this channel. Now, as the name entails, I don't really know where this tank is going. To be honest with you, I don't know where a tank is going to end up until it's there. As I've talked about before, if you guys have been watching previous videos, I'm thinking that this is going to turn into a bidarium. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term, because I made it up, a bidarium is going to be partially terrarium or paludarium, or whatever you'd like to say, and partially aquarium. So it's going to be fully divided, part aquarium, part terrarium. I'm thinking I'm gonna have a day gecko in here or something like that. Perhaps gargoyle geckos. I'm still very much open to suggestions, but right now we've just got these 2 massive pieces of driftwood in here ready to support the weight of some kind of animal. And then we've left a little bit of space off to the left to put an aquarium. Now, I talked about how the 10 gallon's gonna be broken down. That's because it's basically gonna just go in here. We're going to get a piece of glass, we're gonna divide it fully, and then we're gonna put all the substrate, pretty much all the fish, pretty much everything into this side of the 75-gallon aquarium. And what I think is gonna be awesome about that is if we get a very intelligent reptile, now I say intelligent as a reptile can be, if we get a reptile in here, it's gonna have its own aquarium to look at, and I'm so looking forward to seeing a giant day gecko or a corn snake or something like that, just looking at the fish curiously, wondering what they're doing, as interested in them as I am, Currently, the plan is that I'm going to have a giant day gecko. It's going to be a bioactive terrarium. I'm going to have to put like a net on the top so that he doesn't try to escape. I think that's a good idea. Let me know if it's a good idea, guys, because I'm just getting into this reptile game. Bioactive, I'm going to have a lot of nice plants in there. And then on the other side, it's going to be a sand bed with mostly jungle val. I really want to see if I can get those Kuiloch's burrowing behaviors into play, just so we can see that on the channel. But let me know what you guys think. I'm still very open to suggestions. I might go out in a couple of weeks, so you guys might see a video coming out on progression with this tank. Might get that piece of glass in there, might get the aquarium part started, might get some stuff going on the reptile side. We'll have to see, guys. But in closing, that is where the channel is at right now. That is where the aquariums are at right now and where I think they're going to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely needed to update you guys on a lot of things. If you saw the 40-gallon there, it's got a lot of stuff in it that I had never talked about, and that's because the store that I work at is being completely renovated for all of the aquariums, so they were just giving away fish, and I was just taking in fish like crazy. So I hope you guys like this video, and I will see you guys next Sunday.